Kia ora. It's time to learn about how to write an introduction. I have a really structured way of doing it. You don't have to follow the structure, but it's good to make sure when you finish your first draft of your paragraph, make sure that you actually have included all the information that I suggest you include. If you really struggle with introductions, then I strongly recommend you do follow this structure. So we are up to step 5, introduction. Here's our question if you've forgotten it. Here is our essay. This is the first slide of the essay. I am not going to read it. Pause it if you want to read it. And then here is the next slide. Notice how in the top left hand corner it goes ... That's because it's reminding you that it's split over 2 screens, and that's the paragraph split in half. Remember, I've only written one paragraph. I say I. Do remember I didn't write this. I just have edited it a little bit. So pause again if you want to read it. I'm not going to read it out loud because it'll take too long. And here's just the introduction. And here's the introduction broken down into the 4 parts that I recommend you include. I recommend you open with a quote, then tell me the context of the story, then make your argument, and then summarize it. Your summary could be briefer than that. Remember how I talk about quality, not quantity? You don't look at this and think, wow, I have to write that much. You don't. Often you will find more efficient ways of saying what you want to say than 2 or 3 sentences worth. So let's break it down into the different parts and how I've actually written them. Do not just include your quote and don't tell me what the person has done. If you don't tell me what the person has done, then I don't care that you've included the quote. It won't get you any extra marks, in my opinion, of your writing if you can't say who they are, and if you also can't describe how they did what they did. So you could say that they were an esteemed scientist, an accomplished politician, and enthralling poet. You could say, if it was somebody like Martin Luther King, you could say that he was, a divisive leader because he divided people's opinions. Something that actually tells me a little bit about the person. And the next thing that you must do is you can't just say, said, John Steinbeck said. I don't care. He probably didn't actually say it anyway. He probably actually wrote it. So find a more interesting way of introducing the quote. So I have used eloquently declared. You could also say things like exclaimed, implored, stated, hypothesized, argued, reckoned, put forth. It does more than just add fancy words to your writing. It shows me that you actually understand the tone of the statement itself. So this sentence, the free exploring mind of the individual human is the most valuable thing in the world. That is a strong statement. It is also eloquent. It's not very argumentative or confronting. So you wouldn't say something like exclaimed. He didn't exclaim it. There's no exclamation point at the end of the sentence. He eloquently declared. If it was something like an argumentative statement, then you might say argued. Or if it was say a politician, you could say probably that a politician stated, because politicians often say things in very declarative, just straightforward, here is my opinion kind of ways. So really what you want to do is give me as much information about the way that this piece of writing was originally said or written as you possibly can. It shows that you understand who said it and how they said it, and it also gives me clues about who said it and how they said it. So when you are being assessed on your writing, it's as much about giving me information as it is about showing that you can do what it is that you're doing. So can you actually tell me who said it, what kind of person they were, and how they said it? Can you fit that all into one sentence and make it flow? If you can't do that, then you shouldn't be opening your your introduction with a quote, because you aren't using it for your own purposes. You're kind of getting bogged down by it. So if you can't do this skillfully, then it's actually going to distract from your writing, and it's going to make your writing not look as good as it might. So if you really are struggling with this, and you've got your quote and you've got some ideas about how to put it into a sentence, but you just can't quite finish the job, then ask each other for help or come and see me, and I will be able to show you how to do it more skillfully. Okay, this is a skill that you should be practicing. All right, so at this point you should be reflecting on your plan. Have you got a good quote that works? If you don't, change it now and then go and put it into a sentence that flows. Don't just dump it at the beginning of your introduction. Actually try to use it to help your argument. Try and use it to show how it adds to what you are arguing. And if you haven't done a super good job, then I'll be able to help you. But if you just dump it at the beginning, I'll probably just end up saying, I don't think you should use that. I'm not going to give you the answer. I'm not going to show you how to make it better. But if you have a go at trying to make it better, then I will definitely give you some guidance. I know a lot of you, though, will be totally capable of doing that, so really challenge yourselves to come up with the most informative sentence that you possibly can, the most informative introduction to this quote. So I know exactly why you have chosen that quote said by that person.